This is the journey that your potential clients are taking before they're making a buying decision. That's right, the journey they take before they decide to work with you. Welcome to the Brand Bridge, the podcast that's all about branding, entrepreneurship, faith, mindset, and all the things that you need to have to build a compromise-free brand. My name is Melissa, and today we're going to be talking about my ERA framework. And this is a framework that I use when I'm building out a customer journey for my clients. So ERA stands for emotion, rationale, action, because this is the process that happens in their brains when they're going to make a buying decision. First, they have an emotional reaction. It's the thing that touches their heart. It's the thing that makes them stop and say, "Oh, wait, what's that?" The second part is rationale. It's the logic that they're going to use to confirm what that emotion was saying, whether it's a yes or whether it's a no. And A is the action they're going to take. What is the action after they've gone through their emotions, after they've used their logic and their rationale to make the decision? What action are they going to take? Are they going to go for it, or is it by Felicia? And so I'm going to give you an example to start off. This is a perfect example of nostalgia marketing. So nostalgia marketing means that the company, the brand is using something from your past to evoke an emotion from you so that you will buy their product or their service. So an example that I can use is Popeye cigarettes. Do you guys remember this? I don't know. Is this just a Canadian thing? I don't know. But we had back in the day, they were called Popeye cigarettes, and they were candies, and they were like thin and long and white, and they had like a red tip at the end, and you could pretend like you were smoking a cigarette. And I mean, I wonder why they don't sell them anymore. Selling fake cigarettes to kids. Maybe not the best idea, but anyway. So let's say I go into a store and I see Popeye cigarettes. Immediately, it's going to transport me back to when I was a kid, right? And pretending to smoke it and things like that. And let's say it's only $1. I, I'm not going to hesitate. I'm just going to see that and be like, "Oh, Popeye cigarettes, I haven't seen these in ages." And I'm just going to get it because the journey that my mind just went on was emotion, childhood, fun, happiness, joy, excitement, all of these things. The rationale now is it's only $1. Why wouldn't I spend $1 on a fun memory? And so the action I'm going to take is to buy. And so as you can see, that happens quickly, right? You go into a shop, you see something, you're like, "Oh, I want that." And you just take it, especially if you have a Dollarama, a Dollar Tree around around you, and you go into a Dollar Tree a lot. That probably happens more often than not, right? Or even if you go into Walmart or Target and you're shopping, I mean, how many times have you gone into Walmart for one thing, and you come out with a whole bunch of stuff? Costco, name your shop, whatever store it is that you go into, because you're having an emotional reaction to the things that you're seeing because you're like, "Oh, I need that. Oh, we ran out of that. Oh, I remember that. Oh, I need this." We're having all these emotions and all these memories are coming up of things that we need, and we're justifying it, right? We're saying, "Well, I need this. This is something that I need and I need it now." Even though you don't need it now, you could probably get it maybe the next time you go shopping, but you're there, you see it, you're like, "Yes, I need this." And so you take an action and you buy a whole lot of stuff, especially when it's, on the less expensive side. You're not going to hesitate, especially, when we see sales. You go into a shop, you see sale, you're grabbing everything. You're grabbing everything, right? Because it's on sale. So that's the quick version of the buying decision. Now, it also happens on bigger purchases too. It's the same journey, except for the purchase now is bigger. So you might spend a little bit more time, and your clients might spend a little bit more time in the logic phase. So let's use a house, for example. You go into a house that you want to buy. And, if you never had this happen to you, or maybe it's like the apartment that you're in, that you're renting, whatever it is, and you go in and you're like, yes, this feels like home, right? You have this emotional attachment to the place because it's like, well, I'm going to make memories here. I'm going to spend time here. I love the kitchen. I love the bathroom. I love, like look at the high ceilings or whatever it is. But then rationale comes in, right? How much is it? Can I afford it? Do we really need a place this big now? All the questions, right? So you're going to spend a little bit more time in the logic, in the rationale phase, because you need to make sure that the decision you're going to make is a good one. So before you take the action, you are going to just spend a little bit more time saying, do I need this particular thing right now? So that is a longer version of the journey, but the journey is still the same. It's still run by emotions, logic, or rationale, and action. And so how do you use this in your brand? Well, I'm glad you asked. So you have to think about yourself, and you have to think about what your offer is. And not only your offer, you have to think about what is the solution? What is the transformation that you are bringing to your potential clients, to your audience? This is the key of this, is to know your audience. You have to know what is driving them to make a buying decision. What is driving them to want to take that action? Now, they've taken a few steps of action because maybe they've taken the opportunity to go on Instagram to find somebody that does, let's say, a life coach. They've gone on Instagram and they are looking up life coaches, or they're Googling life coach in my area who helps women over 40. They're Googling the solution that they are looking for, or the solution that they think that they're looking for. And so you have to really get into the mind of that potential client and understand, what are they deciding right now? What is the decision? What is the pain? What is the solution that they are looking for? And so when you can deeply understand who your potential clients are, it's easier to make a customer journey that makes sense for the journey they're actually going to take. When you know that part of their journey is going to be going on YouTube, part of their journey is going to be going on Instagram or social media to try to find the solution. They might use AI to help them, answer some questions of, how do I find the best life coach for me? So you really have to get into the minds of your audience, because this also affects your content and your content strategy. What is it that you're going to be putting out there so that your potential clients can find you? And this is the key to a content strategy, is to know this. What and who, I should say, are your potential clients? What do they need? What are they looking for? What's their pain? What's that urgent pain that they're trying to resolve right now? And how does your solution fit into that? How does your transformation fit into that? Too many people spend a lot of time on coming up with a fancy name for their offer, making it sound fancy, making it sound good. But at the end of the day, nobody's Googling the title of your fancy offer, right? They're Googling or they're researching their pain and how do I stop feeling this pain? We said a life coach, for example. How do I I'm over 40 now and my kids are older and I'm feeling like I don't know who I am anymore. What is the pain of somebody like that? What do they need to see? What do they need to feel, first of all? Do they need to feel comforted? Do they need to feel like there is hope? Do they need to feel like they don't have to give up everything and everything that they were doing to have a better life now? You really need to understand who your clients are, then their pain and the solution that they need. This is the key to creating a customer journey, and this is the key to understanding the ERA framework as well. So when you break it down to in the journey, when you break down, okay, my clients are here. This is point A, and they want to get to point B. What does that look like? And this is where your offer is going to come in. Your offer has to provide the B, the transformation, because that's what they want. A lot of times we make the mistake of when we talk about our offer, we talk about the deliverables. We talk about you're going to get this and you're going to get that. And it's a one-on-one session and it's an hour. And there is a place for that for sure. On your website, on your sales page, or when you're having a conversation with the client already and they want to know practically what are the steps and how does it look, of course. But when they're online, they're not Googling one-on-one, we're coaching with a life coach. They're not Googling that. They're Googling life coach or woman over 40 who is going through a change, a perimenopause, or they're going through not knowing their identity, a lack of identity. What is it for your clients? What are they looking up? What is their pain? What is the emotion that they're feeling that you can speak to so they know, wow, she's talking to me. She gets me. I did a poll months ago, and one of the top answers in the poll was I asked, what do you need to know before you make a decision to work with an expert? And most people said that they get me, that they understand where I'm coming from. And I think that sometimes we don't realize how important that is, that we feel seen and heard. I know that for yourself and for me too, like I want to know that I'm feeling seen and feeling heard in the different environments and the places that I show up in my family, with my friends. But when you're working with clients, they want to know that you see them, that you hear them. And it comes down to language, it comes down to the content and the things that you're putting out there that they will connect to when the language is right, when the message is right, and when you're positioned well. So, when you're making content, remember ERA, emotion, rationale, action. What is the emotion that you're speaking to? How are you going to overcome that rationale that they have on their minds? And what is the action that you want them to take? If you have any questions about this, send me a message. Come on Instagram, send me a DM. Don't forget to follow me, of course. And let's discuss this further. And what questions do you have? Put in the comments below. What questions do you have about the ERA framework? So, practical tip. I want you to get out a paper and a pen or pencil and write down for your clients that you're working with, what is their ERA journey? What is their pain? What is their rationale? What is the transformation they're looking for that's going to have them take an action? So write it down and add it to the content that you are making now. Keep it in mind and let me know how it goes. So thank you for joining me on the Brand Bridge, and we'll see you next time. Bye. Okay. You know what? I had to, this is part of the bloopers, I guess. I had to keep starting because I was like, wait, it's like, it wasn't flowing well. We got there in the end, but anyway, I don't know. All I just wanted to say was like, yes. Podcast live.